If you are new to Obsidian or you are used to using other programs like Scrivener for long form writing, you might be surprised at how capable Obsidian can be for doing exactly that. See, I have written several books. I'm currently writing two more right now, and I thought Obsidian is for my exocortex. This is going to keep track of all my notes and database stuff, but if I'm going to write a book, I'm going to need Scrivener, and I've been using Scrivener for the next two books that I'm writing, and then I'm more than halfway through, and then I thought, maybe Obsidian could do all of this because this works a lot like Obsidian does, but more clunky. So I went down the rabbit hole and I found a plugin that does pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. Now, I want to tell you that this is not going to be an whole extensive everything of writing a book from start to finish. This is going to be a focused, detailed look at a single plugin that will help you keep track of scenes and chapters and be able to move them around as you need to, and the plugin that helps make all that happen. Now, if you want to know where to come up with ideas and be a content creator and get ideas for writing so you never have writer's block and then go all the way through, then we'll touch on that after this video. But for now, I do want to tell you this is well worth your time. If you write anything above 1,500 words, then this is going to be so far up your alley, it's not even going to be funny. And with that absolutely atrocious intro, we're going to dive right in. As always, we are back into the standard vault. If it looks weird to you or you're wondering how it got to be this way, I'm using the exact same vault through all my YouTube videos. So if you start at the earliest one, the first one, and then work your way through, it should look exactly like this. And we are going to install a plugin and go through how it works. And if you are familiar with the project management plugin, this will make a lot of sense to you. And if you haven't seen that plugin, or that video about the plugin, then you can watch this one, then go watch that one, and it'll make a lot of sense to you. But the basic idea is that we are going to hit Command comma to bring up the options and settings area, go to community plugins, and then go to browse and look for Longform. It was updated 5 months ago as of the recording of this video, but it works great. I haven't had any issues with it. So you hit install and enable, then we can go into the options and work through this. New scene template. I don't really have a lot of stuff that I need in every new scene. And as you read through here, you'll see that it's applied to every new scene, even if you're going to be doing multiple books or multiple projects, they're all going to use the same template. Or, as it says here, the setting applies to all projects and can be overridden per project in the project metadata settings in the Longform pane. And that sounds like a whole lot of time and energy that I don't want to spend. So I don't even use scene templates because, again, I don't need the same thing for everything. Script step folder. I don't even know what that is. I've never used it. It might make my world better if you're a coder or you're even more familiar with this plugin than I am. Then I would love that. But these are the details that make sense to me, which is show word counts in status bar. I do like knowing my word count, and also I do like having new writing sessions each day so that I can kind of set a goal for myself of, hey, the session word count goal of 500 words is great, or 1,000, or if you're feeling frisky, maybe 1,500. I like setting it at 500 because halfway through my lunch hour, I can bang out 500 words and yay, I hit my goal for the day. So I like having the session reset every day, and then the goal applies to each project individually. So I like having that per project because I am currently writing a couple of books, one on trade shows and another one on sales systems for creatives and also agency owners. Have used this system to make a lot of money. So I wanted to put it all in a book so that more people can use it. So I want to write 500 words in each project that I've got going. And this is where you can make that change. Notify on goal reached. I love having that because that little pop up saying, hey, you hit your goal for the day is a really good bit of dopamine. I like that a lot. Sessions to keep, 30. That I just a month's worth. Okay, that's great. Doesn't matter. Store session data with Longform settings in a JSON file as a file in your vault. I just say with Longform settings, and that's it. Like that's all of the options that we go through. So we do that, and then you go, now what? Well, it's not set up automatically, and you've got a little bit of work to do, and that's what I wanted to show you. So the first thing after you go through those settings and get them the way that you like them, first thing that you want to do is make a new folder and call it whatever you want, whether it's novels or stories or whatever. I don't call it projects because I have projects from the projects plugin. And again, go watch that video after you get to the end of this one. And here, we'll just call it novels. We'll just say we're writing novels, or if you are writing a thesis or whatever you're doing that is going to need a lot of different moving parts, put it here. So novels, it's empty. Okay, cool. This icon right here is the Longform icon, and it's showing stuff from a previous iteration as I was practicing going through all this stuff. So the Daring Adventures of Sparks is what I called that. But we will go back to the folders and go to novels, right click, and then create long form project. And that will tell it, okay, do you want a multi-scene project or do you want a single project that's really long? And ideally, I always use multi-scene because that lets me write scene by scene and then organize them that way instead of trying to keep it all in one document. So to me, this really shines when you're using a multi-scene project. So we'll call this one Mighty Adventures of Thor. Whatever you want to call it, novels. Hit create. Now, inside novels, you'll see this folder, The Mighty Adventures of Thor, and an index automatically gets added. And we should see that in long form because now you can switch. This was not very intuitive to me, was that this is a clickable interface thing. I, for a long time, thought that it would just take me to the file folder, but really it is switching between your long form projects. So you can have multiple folders, multiple things going under one umbrella. So under novels, that's where that is. But this is basically it. So you can go to new scene and say introduction. And it automatically makes it a note, drops your cursor in here, and you can type away to your heart's content and add in a whole lot of extra stuff. And this is the introduction. Then, when you want a new scene, you can say Act 1 in Fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Sure. Okay. That's that. And then we can say Scene 1. Well, lots of stuff happens here. And now you could leave it as introduction, Act 1, Scene 1, go through like this. But this is going to help us organize and keep things situated properly. So you can just click and drag over, and now Scene 1 is under Act 1. And then you can make Act 2 its own thing, and then Scene 1 of Act 2, well, this is a limitation that I found, is that if you use the exact same name, it's not going to go well. So let's see if we can rename this Scene 1.1. Oh. All right, we'll drag that there, and for some reason, it created this, and let's go ahead and delete that and see if that helps. Okay, now we can go to Scene 2.1, and that's it. All right, or we can go back to the settings or project metadata. It's in here somewhere. Compile, no. Let's go back to the settings. Aha. Show scene numbers in scene tab. That was what it was. Let's enable that because I think that might fix the Scene 2.1. Let's do a Scene 1 and we'll drag that under Act 1. Put 1 there. No, I'm trying to get you out of there. All right. Act 1, Scene 1. Okay. So that introduction is really goofing me up. So I want to delete this. Scene 1, Act 2, Scene 1 again. Nope. That still doesn't fix the no duplicated names whatsoever. So it's from a global standpoint of it can't have a duplicate note name of any note in at least this whole folder. So you would have to do Scene 1.1 or 1.2 and then drag that in if you wanted that to be there. Right? Put stuff inside this note. Okay. We'll go to Scene 1.2 and say more stuff goes here. Act 2, Act 2, intro goes here, and 2.1, even more stuff. So here you can write your scenes, then drag them around and organize them however you like, and then keep it nice and tidy when you are looking for, okay, maybe this should go before that one, and it's much easier to drag it in sequence. Now, once you have all of your stuff written and you've got it organized from the from this standpoint, from the acts and scenes, or however you want to think about organizing it, then you want to, as you can see the metadata and then the word count for your project and the day. It goes there, and you can see where the drafts are, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. Then, when you want to export it or have it, it will export as a markdown file. And we do that by compiling it. And there are about 5 steps that it's going to take before it spits out the all assembled thing. And you do want it to strip the front matter, because if you have a whole bunch of properties in your file, well, then let's get rid of that. Like, for example, you could have a property of characters, and we'll call that list, and then be like protagonist. Okay, so the character is here, the protagonist is in here, and antagonist is here as well. So you can have all of that. So you can be like, okay, what chapters have the protagonist in it? What chapters have the antagonist in it? So you could get really detailed and in the weeds in terms of the metadata around which chapters you're dealing with and which characters and that kind of thing. And then you can get even deeper, because back over here in your novels, you could have another folder that's nothing but characters. And inside here, we'll make a new note and call it protagonist. Neat. So now, as you go back into your Longform project and your scenes, okay, scene 1, put stuff inside this note. Said the protagonist. Okay. Here's another detail, which is in your character file, protagonist, add property, and we'll add an alias, and we'll say the fighter, the man in black is also that, the gun slinger, that's another alias. Then we'll just say the man. Perfect. So now, as we go back into Longform, and we've got the protagonist, or we can delete that reference and then just say the man, because it will show the alias that we've just created. And if that doesn't make sense to you, go watch my video about aliases and deep linking. This will make a lot more sense after that. But this way, you can think of every way that you would refer to your character and then put it as an alias and then put it in that way. Because we are going to compile this, and then it is going to strip the front matter. It's going to get rid of these properties. It's going to remove the links. So even if you use wiki links or external link, markdown style links, whatever you prefer, it's going to get rid of that right here, because you don't want that bracket, protagonist, pipe, the man, close bracket. You just want said the man. Okay. Then it's going to prepend the title, prepends the scene title to the scene text. That means that every scene's note title becomes the embedded title of that scene in the manuscript as we export it. And you'll see what that means if that doesn't make sense. Then concatenate text is just a crazy fancy way of saying put it all together and then save it as a note titled manuscript. And it is very difficult to see because it's low contrast, and it might be difficult for you to see this on your screen. But basically it says path for the created manuscript note relative to your project. which basically means that it'll put it in the root folder of this particular Longform project. $1 will be replaced with your project's title. That means right now it will output the whole thing that we've made as a note titled manuscript.markdown, MD. But if you want it to be the Mighty Adventures of Thor manuscript.markdown, well, you can put $1 and save yourself a whole lot of typing, and then it will output $. It won't output $1. $1 will get swapped out with the name of the title, and you'll see what that is. You can add steps if you want to, but I like using it stock. It works really well this way. And then you click compile, and it does it really fast. And now you can see that we've got the introduction and all the text from the introduction, and then it puts in these 3- lines between, which I don't really like, but it's fine. So you can do that, and then you can see Act 1 in Fair Verona, where we lay our scene, and these are H1 headers, and then in Scene 1, because in the scenes, Scene 1 is under Act 1, so this is a second level header, not a top level header. So every top level, as it gets exported, will be H1, and every subheading will be H2. And then if there was a heading under Scene 1, then that would be an H3. So it automatically goes down in rankings for each scene that it's embedded in. So that's kind of cool. And that way you know that the H1 tags are done properly. And then Act 2, again, that's an H1 header. Act 2 intro goes here, and then Scene 2, and on down it goes. And as you can see here, put stuff inside this note, said the man. This isn't a link, it doesn't go anywhere. And it's kind of funny because I didn't realize that I put the man as the alias, and I put the in there, so the man. So we can get rid of that and then go back and compile that, and it should have fixed it. There we go. Neat. And in our main file organization, you can see that the manuscript is right there, and it just updates that file with the new version. So if you wanted a versioned output, then you would want to make sure that as you go to compile, you can add in whatever version it is. I don't know if there's a way to programmatically change that. Maybe there is, but again, that's getting even deeper into coder stuff that I don't handle well. So you could do that if you wanted. But these are the other things that you can do. Save it as a note. Yep, we got it. Save it as a note. Strip font matter already there. But if you wanted to remove comments or strike throughs, then you can just strike through text without having to delete it, and it will ignore it from the manuscript export. And there you go. That gets you from writing to getting it into a markdown file, and it's like that. So now from here, you could copy all of this and then paste it into your blog. If you wanted to put it all in one big long post, you can do that. There are a lot of formatting programs or apps or whatever you want to call it that can handle markdown importing. Yeah, they can import markdown format stuff like this. So that's what the plugin can do for writing. Again, the formatting and getting it publisher ready, that's a whole other thing above and beyond the act of writing. But I think this is a good intro to this plugin. And then there are a couple things I want to cover. Like one of the main questions is, where do I get my ideas to write, or how do I become a better writer? And I want to touch on that on the good camera. And there you have it. Is that going to be something that you're going to wind up using? If so, please leave a comment. Let me know what kind of thing you're going to write with it. And also, if you enjoyed this and found it worth your while, then hit the like button. That will help me know that this is the kind of thing you'd like to see more of. It also lets YouTube know that other people like you might need to see this as well. So go ahead, hit that button and let the algorithm know that more people need to see this. Now, I did mention at the beginning that if you were curious about where to come up with ideas and how to be a content creator and having a system that allows you to keep track of all the stuff you've got going on, all the way through to getting it out the door, then head over to plusoncreator.com. I have a whole video, and it's set up as a course, but it's just a video walkthrough of my content system that I've used to consistently put out books and articles and videos like this, and do it while having full-time job, family, wife, kid, another one on the way, and traveling, and a lot of things on my plate. And other people, my friends, family, and other folks online are like, how in the world do you put so much stuff out all the time with all the stuff you've got going on? And this system is exactly how I do it. And I'd love to walk you through that. So head over again to plusoncreator.com and you'll be able to find your way there. And if you do want to find a community of awesome creators, or you'd like to kind of come out of your shell as a creator, then that's exactly where you should go. And if you would like a deeper dive into Obsidian versus Scrivener, like if you're all in on the writing front and you're wondering how Obsidian stacks up to Scrivener, I've been thinking about doing a video of a couple plugins that you can use together to create a very similar feel to Scrivener that comes free. So if you are interested in that, let me know as well. And I might run a poll on that here on YouTube. So yeah, just let me know what you're thinking. I want to hear from you, genuinely. And if you made it this far, seriously, thank you so much. Consider subscribing, because I put out lots of stuff about Obsidian, personal knowledge databases, and thought strategies and techniques for being a full-time content creator. So yeah, thank you so much for your time and attention. I am going to trust YouTube to show you the next video of mine that it thinks you would enjoy the most. And as always, I do like to say, remember, if you can change your mind, you can change your life.